Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with Tate Mathews, my co-host. Tate, Spring Fling, WCS Spring Fling finishing up. We'll have the Spring Fling coming up, and we're going to be pretty well represented, I think.
Yep. Wilco will be well represented in Murfreesboro. You're going to be burning up 840 next week, and I know you're very excited to do so in your SUV, gas. Glad the gas shortage is no longer because you're going to need plenty of gas.
Well, it's, we knew this. It seems like we've kind of forgotten a little bit. We hadn't really forgotten, but it's been 2 years since we had this, so it's kind of a refreshing reminder of what kind of dominance we have in the spring.
No doubt about it. I love it. I always have. You can get over and check out some softball, some baseball, track, soccer, tennis. I mean, it's awesome. One-stop shopping, man. Be a little bit different this year. Track and baseball won't be at middle, but that's okay. The baseball doesn't really bother me at all. Track, I hate it for those young people, but like you just said, all you got to say is, hey, look, the class of 2020 didn't even get to run, so
it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to go back to that, and everybody says, "Oh."
That kind of diffuses everything.
Wonder if I can use that in like 4 years when something happens.
Why not? Throw it out there.
Hey, let's start off with a little baseball. District Tournament Championship. Independence just rolled through that tournament. 18-4 win over Dickson County in the final. Dickson had to beat them twice, which obviously they didn't beat them once. As we had this show last week, we were heading into Franklin Independence in the winners bracket final. Big time pitchers duel. Franklin lost to Indy 2-0 in the winners bracket final. That put Franklin behind the 8 ball a little bit. They end up losing 3-2 to Dickson, and then Indy was waiting, and man, were they ready.
Man, were they ready. Hey, the 6th seed, and they go undefeated. It's not like they, you know what I'm saying, had to battle back through the losers bracket. They went undefeated. Summit. Now think about this. If at the beginning of the tournament I'd have told you, here's what's going to happen. Indy's coming in 6th seed, okay? Ravenwood and Brentwood are getting bounced early. Ravenwood's getting bounced earlier. And Indy's going to defeat Summit, Brentwood, Franklin, Dickson County, be done. You've probably taken the bet against me, right?
Yes, and no more betting, not real betting.
Yeah.
Just, for kicks.
Gentlemen's.
On baseball, we've already determined, although you were kind of rolling and then we both kind of got messed up in the tournament. Hey, how about that tournament MVP Jack Boffman had?
Awesome. Really cool story. Really cool story. And man, was he on fire.
He was. 3 for 4, 4 RBIs in the final, 3 runs scored. And for the tournament, what did he do? Oh, he just hit 700. 7 for 10, 6 runs scored, 6 RBIs, 2 home runs over 4 games. Jack, I think that was probably a deserved MVP.
No doubt about it, and Coach McClory said so. And it's a cool story. I know there was one out there. There's not a whole lot of Boffmans out there, right? So pretty easy to figure out he might be related to Rob Boffman, Centennial head coach. That he is his son. And I thought that was a great story. I don't know that I could have played for my dad. You know what I'm saying? Not that he couldn't, but Rob and Jack decided it was best for Rob to be a dad, support him and watch him, and he's totally enjoyed getting to do that. And I thought what a compliment that was to Coach McClory. I mean, you think about letting Adam or Dylan play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you're still coaching, right? I'm a coach, and I trust you to coach my boy. I think that's a heck of a compliment. And obviously it's turned out really well. And Rob was the biggest fan for the Eagles during the tournament. I just think it's an all-around cool story. And what a heck of a talent he is. I mean, I think anybody in the district would like to have Jack on their team.
Well, and I'm going to guess that Coach Boffman probably won't be wearing Independence.
No, it's neutral.
Hats.
He's probably wearing a C.
I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I don't know that he's. Yeah,
he's not taking it that far.
No, he's not going to be standing with signs, but pretty cool, man. But when you say, I think the thing that jumps out the most, you say all those stats, but when you say that for the tournament, he batted 700. Good gracious.
Hey, guys, don't pick. Maybe we want to pitch around, which they may have. I mean, only 10 official at-bats in 4 games.
Right.
I'm sure he had a couple of walks in there. But, again, great tournament. Great tournament for Independence, and they're moving on. And just to show the strength, and this isn't surprising, then we have the region tournament. What happens? Independence hosts McGavock. They win 6-1. Ravenwood with a 2-1 win over Overton. 2-0. They face off again in the region championship. They both will qualify for the sectionals. Probably going to be key to stay away from Clarksville. Clarksville plays Beach in the final. The winners and losers will match up. Winner here plays loser there. Loser here plays winner there. So there's a lot on the line there, and I think as much as anything, I feel like well, here I go again, making predictions. But I feel like Clarksville might win, although now Beach has a couple of really good pitchers too, so we'll see.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that's crazy about it is, so, here's what's going to be interesting. You've talked about this in basketball. So Wednesday is not do or die. Friday is, regardless, all Wednesday is one, you would like to be region champion, and 2, do you host or go on the road? So I don't think you're going to see either of Independence's or Ravenwood's number 1s. Maybe not their number 1s or number 2s.
Or probably Clarksville or Beach.
Or Clarksville or Beach. So where am I going with this? Beach has that one kid that is going to be a first-round draft pick, top 15 pick. He's hit 100, not 90. He has hit 100. Not like he hit, 90 once and then really he throws in the mid-80s. This guy has hit 100 several times. He throws in the 90s. What's my point? There's a good chance that you could end up winning the region and hosting Beach. Well, you know who you're going to see. A little bit of strategery there.
See, I've got to give you credit. Just when I think that you have fallen off with the baseball
I'm in.
inside, you're right about that. You're right about that. If you're talking about, because it does come down to that, we've talked about it all year. Who has the best pitcher at the best time of year? And really, if you look at those 4 teams now that we're talking about it, the best pitcher left
is it Beach?
Is the kid. That's right.
Clarksville's the better team.
Right. It's not a series.
But one night, Friday, go win or go home, you're going to see that kid. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
You're like the Buster Olney of WCT when it's
I'm a little bit more country than Buster.
When you're talking about baseball. That's good, man. That's really good.
Thank you.
Give you credit.
Appreciate it.
Let's talk about what I thought was a surprise of the week. Fairview goes out and dominates Stewart County 13-0. Then in an elimination game a couple days later, they fall short 9-2 at Fairview against Stewart County. Disappointing end, I know, to Coach Grigali and the Yellow Jackets, but great season, 21-11, and really his first year at the helm.
No doubt about it. And that's I'd like to see the all-time records, 21 wins in a season. That's up there as one of the best seasons they've ever had. Coach Grigali's doing a great job there. They'll keep building on this. But you're right, that's heartbreaking. I mean, it's not like you won 2-1 and then lost 2-1. That's played really well one day. Obviously, that 9-2 loss, that just wasn't their day. I don't know what happened, but I'm willing to bet he would tell you that was not their best baseball of the year by far. Happens sometimes.
It does. Nolansville, who had won the district tournament, that great game against Giles County, they go on to defeat Stewart County. Stewart loses in the finals of the district to Lewis County after that win over Fairview. It's 13-3 in 6 innings. They'll host now Nolansville, Giles County. But once again, like the district final, it won't be McIlvain pitching.
Right.
So obviously he's going to be the guy pitching in the sectional. Again, that district final was 6-5. The Stewart County game, Ethan throws 4 innings, gives up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 10 strikeouts, no walks, multiple hits for Tyler Hummel, Jackson Hill, Ethan Seiling. Nolansville, I like, regardless of what happens in the region finals, I like Ethan McIlvain against anyone.
I do too. And man, another name, obviously McIlvain. Another name that always pops up when you're talking Nolansville baseball, Tyler Hummel. You watch. He's going to play a big role in the sectional championship to get back to Murfreesboro. I felt good about this one for a while. The Knights the Knights are going back to Murfreesboro. I think they're going to win it this time, but they're definitely going back.
I was at the Stewart County game. Nice little atmosphere out there at Nolansville for a baseball game.
It's cool.
Really
hey, man,
was.
There's 2 high school programs that have put, I'd like to do a study on this. If you took the top 2 high school programs that have churned out former baseball players that have got into coaching, it has to be Marshall County and Overton, man.
Yeah.
You know, and you were talking about that Ravenwood 2-0 win over Overton. That's the one you don't want to see out of Overton, right? Out of Metro. Coach Morrison's done a great job. But anyways, Coach Hudson, he's an Overton Bobcat. They learned the right way, man. They know how to run baseball programs.
Chris Ladd,
Yeah.
also Overton.
I don't know about in the new school. In the old school, Coach Ladd was on the Wall of Fame.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Basketball, baseball player. Yeah, he was. I think they had him up there in his baseball uniform because the basketball, the legs were just too skinny. Couldn't do it. Coach Ladd could do it, man. He was a player.
Great guy, too.
Yes.
Great
Big
guy.
Titans fan.
Let's talk a little softball. District Tournament Championship. Summit does it again. For the 3rd time, they defeat Dickson County 3-2. They jumped out to a 3-0 lead through 4 innings and then just held on. Haley Montgomery, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Claudette Brunk, multi-sport athlete. RBI single driving in Alden Mathews, who led off the 4th with a double. Dixon ends up cutting the lead to 3-2. Here's what I think makes Summit pretty special. A lot of things, but this is key. Unlike most teams, they really have 2 pitchers. We've talked about this before.
Right.
Lily Kate Richards throws 5 2/3 innings. They bring in Elena Escobar to get the save. She records the last 4 outs. That's not typical in softball. Usually it's the same pitcher all the time, unless you're playing a team that you're going to dominate. Maybe you throw the number 2. They're really 1 and 1A or 1A and 1B. It's really, and Escobar, by the way, was named the MVP of the tournament. I think that is a definite advantage for Summit.
Well, without a doubt, because if Lily Kate's not, for whatever reason, on her A game that day, you can always put Escobar, right? So it's a heck of an advantage. Escobar is what I would like. We got 2 really good quarterbacks. Well, it doesn't do us any good to have one of them. You can only play one. It doesn't do us any good to have one sitting over on the sideline. So which one helps us the most at wide receiver or whatever? You know what I'm saying? And that's what they've got there. They're both too good to have them have one of them sitting over in the dugout spitting sunflower seeds right now. The ladies don't do that, but you know what I'm saying. Chewing bubble gum. Let's get them both out there, and that's what they've got. Escobar, MVP of the tournament.
Hey, this week's gym, you'll like this. I know the folks at Summit will like it. 3 straight district finals appearances for Coach Stevenson and Summit. 2 of those are wins. I felt like a few years ago, Brentwood and Coach Powell, the resurgence of softball in this league. And now you also see Coach Stevenson in Summit. They've kind of flexed their muscles as, hey, we're kind of the program right now.
Right. Well, and 2 things. One, I'm not going to say I called this, but I do feel like.
But you're getting ready to say you called it.
I said, don't sleep on Summit in softball. They could win this thing. They kept climbing the rankings and done. But right here, right, what you just said, pitching. I think even more so in baseball. Look at what you just said. Brentwood was top dog for 3 or 4 years. This year, probably the most potent team they've had from the plate.
No doubt.
And Summit wins, right? Pitching. It is a pitching sport, man.
No doubt. Hey, and this is not surprising. Again, Dixon defeats McGavick 12-1 in the region semi. Summit 16-0 over Hillsboro. So they play again. Here's matchup number 4 with Dickson County. Tate, can they do it again? Dixon has been so dominant. There are only 3 losses in the district at all during the season or the tournament, all to Summit. What do you think?
I think they do it. I think Summit's playing their best softball of the year. I think they've continued to get better and better and better, and they're peaking at the right time, kind of like Nolansville baseball. And I think they are obviously a matchup problem for Dickson County.
I agree. I mean, I'm not going to pick Dixon.
I think
Come
they
on.
get them. But I really think they get them.
I do too. I do too. You know, remember what we said about you can't beat a good team 3 times or 4 times.
That's not true.
It's definitely not true. Do we need to go back to the analogy we talked about?
I think you need to refresh the listeners, yes. I mean, the
Listen,
viewers.
we're not encouraging this. We're not encouraging this at all. But again, a wise old man told me one time that, you know, when that conversation came up about, oh, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. He reminded me, he said, you know what? If you and I get in a scrap and I kick your butt twice, do you think the 3rd time that you're going to have confidence that you're going to even it up a little bit? The answer is probably no. So I always say it's hard to beat a good team 3 times. It's hard to beat a great team once.
That's right.
That's what I'm going with.
Hashtag Cardwellisms.
That may be one of the best.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
We may have to add him, Mr. Producers, like one of the executive producers, because we use so much of his
Could we
stuff.
get him down here as a guest in the summer?
Maybe.
That would be epic.
It would be great. It would be great.
But he's right. What does that mean?
It means nothing. I've never bought into that.
Are we better than you or not?
I've never bought into that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think when it happens,
Summit's beating them.
I think when it does happen, it's because everybody talks about it. Oh, it's hard to, and then you get it in your mind mentally, oh, we can't do it. Don't talk about it. We can do it. So, anyway, let's talk Nolansville. Region semis, they get a 10-0 win over Waverly Central. Oh, and what does Ryland Smith do? She just goes out and throws a no-hitter over 6 innings with 11 strikeouts. Sydney Dickinson, a name we've been saying a lot, 3 for 4, 2 doubles, 7 RBIs. They move on to the region championship at Forest. That's been a good little rivalry there. Nolo's getting it done at Forest this time.
That's the next step. Forest has had their number. Forest has been queens on the block for the last few years. This is the next step they got to take. That's a tough one to get through. Forest, big-time softball program. You're right. We're going to put Ryland Smith out there on the mound. The Lady Rockets go down. Nolansville takes the next step. It's going to be big.
I agree. The Knights become queens.
That's right.
Okay.
Where is the only place in the state? I think we talked about this. The only school in the state of Tennessee. Up on the gym wall, it says home of the Vikings and the Vi-Queens.
Oh, dang it. You said this. I'm not going to get it, but
Community.
You've told this.
The Vikings, they're the Vikings. The Vikings and the Vi-Queens.
Do they do that like when they're official names, or it's on the wall?
In basketball, they do. I don't know about the rest of it.
Listen, that's strange. That seems...
Dennis King, it
seems confusing.
Dennis King, head of the English department, his head would have spun off.
And I'm not saying nothing against the gender equity thing. Don't get me wrong, but it's just too confusing on the nickname.
Well, yeah,
change the nickname.
You're a Viking. You're not a king. You're not royalty. You're a Viking.
The folks at community.
That could have been a gem. We just added another finger to the show.
A nugget, a morsel, something. Hey, let's talk a little soccer. Brentwood, Franklin, who've obviously been the best 2 teams throughout the year. They play in the district championship. Brentwood shuts out Franklin 3-0. Aiden Parker scores in the first 3 minutes of the first half. He scores in the first 3 minutes of the second half. Brentwood goes on and adds another goal from Reed McAdams. Aiden Moss of Franklin and Logan Stegall of Brentwood really throughout that first half played great beyond that first 3 minutes. But once that second goal was scored, then you've got to get in desperation mode, and it's going to be hard to come back 2-0 against Brentwood.
No doubt about it.
And they're so defensive-minded, too.
That's right. And Logan Stegall's playing lights out in the goal. You know, it has been all year. And, you shut out Franklin, playing really well. This Brentwood team, I think those are 2 of the best teams in the state. And Brentwood playing really well.
I'm feeling there may be a 4th matchup.
I think so, too.
In the state finals. They both, again, this goes out in the department of no surprise again. Brentwood defeats Hillsborough 4-0 in the region semis. Franklin 5-0 over Antioch. Matchup number 3 coming up in the region championship. They both will qualify for the sectionals, and they're both going to make it to the state tournament.
I think so, too. and could end up in the finals together. No surprise there. It'll be an upset if Brentwood doesn't get there, I think. And by the way, 5-0 Franklin over Antioch. For the loyal viewers of the show, in nautical terms, that is a boat race.
Really, we should have. I mean, you've had that hat sitting here for about a month, and you couldn't do, Wilco and Wilco crime. But we had baseball,
softball, and soccer were.
Maybe they can add a little hat like a little graphic,
or just the boat going across.
Oh, that's true. There it goes. There it goes. All right, let's talk about Page. Page sort of quietly doing their thing too, right? 2-0 win over Murfreesboro Central in the district championship. Goals by David McDougall, Hyatt McDonald. Both had goals in the first half for Page. Region semis, they go out and defeat Sycamore. Again, a goal by Hyatt McDonald. That sets up a rematch in the region championship with Murfreesboro Central. Coach Clapp and Page doing their thing. They've got a really, really good team.
They do. And don't I remember Central beating them a couple weeks ago? That was a revenge win, isn't it?
District championship was Page.
I know. But didn't Central get them in the regular season?
We may have to check that one. I can't tell you.
I think they did. So that's big.
We'll do a fact check on that.
Fact check, because now they're getting them at home.
But the district championship, which was Page.
Correct. Now that means the region championship comes back to Page. I wonder if Coach Clapp puts the game on the turf.
Interesting.
That would be because it's definitely different, and I know Magnet doesn't have turf.
Well, he's going to do it. He's obviously
Speeds the
going
game up.
He's obviously going to do it if he thinks that's an
Right.
advantage for them. And why wouldn't he? Right? So that's the benefit of playing at home.
You won that right.
It's like the Hal Mummy back in the Kentucky days. There, they played Florida, and the grass was grown out a little longer. Spurrier comes to town. They win by about 50, and they had named one of the roads up there in Lexington Hal Mummy Pass. And Spurrier, after the game, said, "What's next?" They got to name a road after Bill Curry.
Wow.
I'm like, come on, man.
That's trampling on a guy when he's down.
That's cold, man.
You know what I equate that to?
What's that?
That's kind of like winning and hosting the district tournament or the region tournament or whatever you want to call it, and you use a basketball that no one else uses. My court, I get to pick what ball we use, right?
Listen. Let's don't. That's a great analogy, by the way.
Am I wrong?
No, I don't think so.
What ball did y'all use?
Sterling. Well, we did for one of the games.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't. We just played along. We played along and used the official ball, the Wilson.
You know what I always say?
That's a different story. We were ironically the last team standing, so.
You know what ball they use in the NBA?
A Spalding.
It doesn't seem to affect Steph Curry. Give me a break, man. I get this all the time. Is that a good football? Can you throw it? I'm like, I don't know. Can your quarterback throw? Not really. Then probably can't throw it. You think Destin Wade gives a rip what ball it is? Come on, man. Let's go.
I've got a funny story. Listen, viewers, you just fast forward about 20 seconds if you don't want to listen to this. Great story. Former assistant out there at Franklin High School, Justin Anderson, great assistant. He goes to a basketball clinic that Bo Ryan's speaking at. Bo Ryan, hey, it's good enough for Bo Ryan. When he was the coach at Wisconsin.
Sterling basketball.
They used the Sterling basketball. Bo Ryan did. So Coach Anderson, being the great guy he is, he takes a Sterling ball and wants Bo Ryan to sign the Sterling ball so we can display it in the office. One of the old balls in there. Said, let's take one off the rack, sign it. And so Bo Ryan signs it and says, "Sterling, the best basketball in America." And he turns to Coach Anderson and says, "How do you spell Sterling?"
He did.
That's a true story. That is. Anyway, you may have to cut that out. But yeah.
No, that's great.
It's great. Hey, let's talk a little track. Well, I know we're short on time here.
Getting after them.
Hey, now I'm going to give you credit again. Congratulations to the Brentwood girls for winning the sectionals, and you called it. You said, "Watch out, here they come." Coach Carolyn, both Coach Carolyns.
That's right.
With a win, although the boys' side would be Cormac, Franklin defeats Brentwood. I'm telling you, you called it. You could feel it coming. Again, you're our track expert. You saw it coming. What made you? Were you just looking at the scores and thought maybe that could happen, or something told you though Franklin was coming?
I just felt it, man. Those scores kept coming down and coming down, you know, or Franklin was coming up, and they've got more out, you know. Yeah, you want quality athletes, but that's another one. It's like wrestling. You got to have people out, you know, and they've added to that roster, and now they've got more, you know, quality people in different events, and they're really good in the relays now, and then with the field and all that. So don't worry, Brentwood's going to be fine. But yeah, I just felt like they had really closed the gap. Girls on the other side, that one ain't happening.
Gap not closed.
No.
Brentwood on the girls' side, 127. Ravenwood in second, 79.5. The boys' side, Franklin, 81. Brentwood, 78.5. Did want to give a shout out to some of our winners, so this will be a little bit of a list, but want to make sure we recognize them. Jordan Rail from Ravenwood wins the 800. Then you've got several who won 2 events. Lee Walters, Page, 16 and 3200. Georgia Cockerham, Summit, a couple of your favorite events, 100 and 300 hurdles. Holland Powers, Brentwood, pole vault, triple jump, pentathlon. Then you've got Reagan Grimes from Ravenwood, shot put and discus. Elise Dobson from Nolansville was second in the pentathlon. And I had to educate Tate on this before the show to let him know that the pentathlon is 5 events.
Hey,
what is that? Is that Greek?
It's got to be, right? The Olympics.
Okay.
Hey, all those are very, very, very impressive, not to put one over the other. But Reagan Grimes on that shot put school record, discus, second farthest throw in the state so far on the female side.
Look out for Reagan at the state meet.
Multi-sport athlete.
Multi-sport. Hey, Franklin on the boys' side, they set 2 school records at the meet, 4 by 800, and then Graham Ferguson in the 800. Winners, Patrick James, again, somebody we keep mentioning, 300 hurdles. Anthony Dodd of Franklin, shot put. Carter Miller, Ravenwood, wins the discus. Patrick Lama from Franklin, the decathlon. Sam Sullivan, Brentwood, was second. Now, here's something I thought was interesting. A little different, and you know this, but to educate our viewers.
We're an information show.
There's 4 sections in the state. The top 4 in each event qualify. Teams don't qualify, but you do get team points at the state. So even though Franklin boys and Brentwood girls won, it's still top 4 in all of those events. So basically it's a 16-person or team for each event. Correct?
Correct.
So.
Very good. Hey, let me tell you this real quick. Franklin defeats Brentwood by 2.5 points, right? Patrick Lama wins the decathlon. Samuel Sullivan second. Brentwood has won the decathlon at least the last 10 years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That never happens.
That's why you knew Franklin.
It's coming.
Plus they had that in their back pocket, so to speak, because you don't see that in the regular season events.
No.
All right, last thing here. We're going to talk a little tennis. Region individual finals. In singles, Patrick Delves of Ravenwood defeats Donovan Janisic. In singles and doubles, the team of Stone and Eisenhower defeat David Davis and Eastman. On the girls' side, Grace Stout of Ravenwood defeats Lisa Messier of Franklin. In doubles, the team of Huddleston and Huddleston of Brentwood defeat Messier and Bear of Franklin. Here's what's interesting. Exact same district finals, which we talked about last week, they all flipped except for the boys' doubles. How about that? Shows you how close it is.
That's very close.
And what's too bad for the ones that finished second, only one qualifies for the state championship. On the team side, Franklin girls defeat Hume Fogg 4-0 in the regional team championship. Ravenwood defeats Hillsboro 4-0 in the boys. The sectional now is Franklin girls at Mount Juliet, Ravenwood boys at Station Camp. And listen, we've got to mention this, Fairview. We're talking about Fairview, the improvement in their sports. Boys individual finals. You've got an all yellow jacket final. Skylar Cronk Poston defeats his teammate Sean Grayson in the region championship. Skylar advances to the individual state tournament, and this may be as cool as anything. After winning the team championship, region team over Summertown and Les Trotter, They now play in the sectional at Merrill Hyde with a chance for the team to qualify for the state. It's so exciting for Fairview.
That is big time. Hey, let me tell you something. That is just one more step that you've been talking about, and now we're talking about tennis. That's big time, man. Congratulations to Skylar. And it can't be easy going out there and in that match having to do it against your teammate. You know each other so well. That's big time, man. Either one of them could have gone. Really cool.
Love it.
Love it.
Tate, appreciate you joining us as always. We appreciate you guys for joining us. And we'll see you next time on Sports Connection.